All right, let's try this again. I just finished rambling on for over an hour. Tried to put the video onto, which one is this? Bitchute. File too large. Isn't that some BS? Maximum file size 2 gigabytes. File is too large. My file is 2.47 gigabytes. So I don't know what happened. Actually, I do have a few thoughts. I've upgraded my system. Man, that was such a headache too. I got, check this out, an i5 up from an i3. I knew that Intel only works with Intel, that you can't use AMD. So it's like, fine, I've got an Intel, I'll stick with it. Did not know that also motherboards were incompatible with each other, with the processors. So I bought this and it wouldn't work, and that's because there's little notches on the side. On the side, these two little kind of half circles, they didn't line up. Took it in, or I called up a computer place and they were like, oh yeah, you need a new motherboard for that. And I was like, and I took a picture of mine because I had my case off and all this stuff. And I was like, is there anything wrong with my motherboard right now? They're like, no, it's okay. It's a little old, but it's okay. But there's definitely better ones. Yours is, it's getting close to kind of what would be good, because even whenever I bought it, it wasn't top of the line or anything like that. It was, I just needed it for web browsing stuff. But whenever it was all said and done, I took in a new motherboard, brought it home, took everything out, put everything back in, and couldn't get this to work. Oh, no, that wasn't it. I couldn't do all the connections because my old motherboard, it was real clear where everything was going to go with the connections on the board because it was labeled. This new motherboard didn't have it, and I was like, is this where this goes? I don't know. And also my eyes are not quite as sharp as they are. Some of that was really small print, very hard to read. I couldn't read it all. So I just took it back in. But I took out the old motherboard, put in the new one. I also bought some RAM, and I went from 8 to 16. And that's because I have tabs open. I have like 30 of them open right now. And that was like the answer to that, to help with that, because now I can open up like 50 of them, which I will probably do, because I'm just, it's like, this is good, and that's like for later. And I bought a new graphics card. I went from a 710 to a 1050 Ti, I think it is. And I did that mainly because I wanted to have dual monitors. The old one, I had only an HDMI connection, and I bought a splitter so I could have this one here, and in my living room I have a 55-inch flat screen HDMI, and so I did both because I don't have cable. I'm just stupid. I find so much just on the internet, just with YouTube, for example, that it's more than enough. I don't need that trash. But doing these videos, it's like I need 2 monitors right here, because I will have like this going on, and I can't do both on one screen. But with 2, it's like, no, I can have my video playing here or maybe over there. I don't know which one I'll do just yet. And then I can have this text, usually it's a word pad, and I can have that on another monitor. And I knew about 3 weeks ago that it was like, no, I'm not going to come back until New Year. I'm going to do my New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to kick this off. And it's because none of this was a surprise or unexpected. It's like, yeah, it's a big flop with what it is that I'm doing. And it's like, that's fine. That's the way that it is. You know, the first time whenever you walk, you fall down. You ride your bike, you fall down. Whenever you're riding, it's like your ABCs. You do it like hundreds of times to get it all down. And it takes you years where your handwriting gets really worth a damn. Whenever you first start driving, it's like, it was, for me, it was out there on the farm. It's where me and all my cousins learned how to drive. We were real young because out there on the farm, it's like there's no cops out there, and kids help with their families all the time with all that stuff. And, first time you take on a new class and you're learning a new subject, you take on a new job. It's not like you just sit on down. It's like, yeah, I got this. And you just start going to town. No, you got to go through training. Well, what do you do whenever there's nothing? Nobody is doing what I'm doing with this. I am going to create like this, I guess, huge online presence, which will be some kind of big, massive, stupid company. It's like, how many people have done that? And how many people have done that and actually succeeded? It's like the one thing that I hear constantly from all of these people who are really successful is don't stop. Don't keep doing the same thing either, because if you're just doing the same thing and you expect something different to happen, it's like, yeah, well, good luck with that. That's kind of the meme of stupidity, is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And sometimes that can actually happen, which is why it's kind of a meme. It's not 100%, but it's close enough to the meme that it's going to hold true most of the time. It's like, yeah, I'm going to fail with this. I'm going to make mistakes. That's not the problem. That's not the issue. The issue is that I'm not going to get a participation trophy just for winning. I'm not going to be able to do that for just showing up and doing it. It's like, no, I got to put in work. So if you ever are involved with that, kids getting participation trophies, it's like you're setting your child up for failure, or whoever's child. It's like you should break that thing into 1,000 goddamn pieces. Because if you go off and you grow up, this little kid grows up and they go and do a job interview, they're not going to get anything for going to the interview. It's like only one person is getting that job, and you shouldn't be disheartened that you didn't. It's you better get up off your ass and go keep looking. And you're not going to put in an application for one place. You better think like 100. You put in an application for every place that you can. I don't feel sorry for you at all. Well, I went to 10 places or 20. It's like, you better try 100. What the hell are you talking about? It's like, everybody's out there looking for a job. You did a handful of places. Get out of here. Get up, child. There's no trophy for any of this stuff. You get the trophy when you get the job. So, yeah, ridiculous. And it's the same thing with this. It's like, nobody's going to give me anything just because I showed up. Here I am. It's like, no, I'm going to have to produce good content and offer a service that's worth a damn. And to think that I'm just going to sit down and just magically have this come out of my ass isn't going to happen. It's like, I'm going to have to figure a lot out. I'm going to have to figure out how to do marketing and subscription-based stuff and the format for the website. I mean, there's a billion things to do. I'm not going to get it all right. I have a good idea that I have to now formulate into something that will be able to bring results. So, yeah, I don't give a damn that I failed. I don't care at all. It's like, yeah, duh, thanks. Newsflash, I'm human. I'm not God. Big shock, I know. Surprising, but it's the truth. And so for my New Year's resolutions, is that I don't think I will have to do another big break like this, because I thought I was in a better place where I could dedicate more time to this. It's like, surprise, I wasn't. But I think I am. I think I am now. I'm not saying that there won't be any more breaks, just not, I think, I won't be surprised if there will, but I will be surprised if it was this long. So anyways, my New Year's resolutions is that I have 2 YouTube channels. One of them is Practical Focused Improvement, where I'm really focusing on myself, because I know I have to push myself up more, a lot more, because people who have all of this major success with whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish, it just doesn't fall from the sky. It's 80 to 100 hours a week doing that stuff. And I mean, I'm not there obviously right now, but at some point in time it is. And if I can get a head start on it by preparing for it and starting in on it now. So I'm going to concentrate on my personal improvement and with that channel, because it's like, why not monetize it as I do it? And then this channel, if you're on Bitchute, it's combined into one with YouTube because they're kind of local. I've split it off into 2. And that's freedom of expression, and that's because I want people to be able to freely express themselves and their ideas. That doesn't mean without responsibility, though. It's like, and I know how to deal with it. I say this a lot. There's going to be checks and balances like mad. It's like I don't have a problem with people saying whatever the hell you want to say. You want to say the earth is flat. You want to say donkeys jumping in the sky, farting pixie dust out their ass. It's like, whatever. I don't care. I just want good, accurate information, and a lot of it is going to start with the foundation of truth, which is going to be based off of some kind of evidence. I don't care about your feelings. You want to express your feelings, that's fine, but there's a line that gets crossed whenever you start trying to tell me, well, it's true, it's my truth. It's like, well, you can take your truth and just shove it right back down your throat because I don't care. What makes you different, so special compared to the other? We're almost at 8 billion people on the planet now. What makes you so special there, fruitcake? I'll tell you what, nothing. You're no better than me or anyone else. So I got nothing for those people, So that probably doesn't include you because that's why you're here. Because it's like, yeah, I'm fed up with this crap too. So we'll do this fight together, and it'll be a good fight because nobody's really going to get hurt. It's a fight of ideas and character and kind of judgment and honesty and truth. Because and it's not to say perfect. It's not this utopian vision stuff that these leftists say, well, it could be better. It's not perfect. It's like, well, duh, dumbass. It's like, but is it better? Is it actually better? And if it is, then it should be quantitative in some aspect. That it should be able to show itself to actually be better. And that's what they can't do. They don't want to. They just live in their heads, and there's just like, morons. And so not only is my New Year's resolution to improve myself, but I have some specific goals. So one is that I have lost weight. I was 230 pounds. I am down to 180. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this is. So this is kind of normally what I look like. I had one of my rental units come up where they were like, we need to move. We got a job offer in this other city. And it's like, well, your lease agreement's up. You can go ahead and go. But man, did they leave some mess. Because they had 4 kids, they had a big dog. I will never take on a big dog again because those damn things just do more damage than what they're worth. Whenever I was first starting off, it was like, yeah, I'll let big dogs come in because it's like I need the money more than anything, and I've got the time to put the elbow grease in and all of it. But at 230 pounds, this shirt was tight on me. But now, as you can see, and it's like it's old. It's like, I've got like a hole right here and stains on it and paint and all this stuff. But I can fold it in on itself like a good stretch of clothing right here because this is how big that it is. And this is like an extra large, and I've bought medium-sized shirts here recently because that's how much. But I still have a little bit of weight here. It's not a lot. But it's there, and I haven't been running or lifting, but I still have a little bit of muscle, not much. And it's usually I'm running, or I'm running and lifting, or I have an injury and I'm just doing one of the other. It's like I've injured myself lifting, so I'm just running, or I've injured myself running, so I'm just lifting, but I haven't been doing any of that because Christmas, baby! So, but with all of that behind me, it's like it's time to get back on it, and I actually bought a kettlebell. And it's because it's just one. It was like $50. Got it through Amazon. And this should take my workouts from like an hour because I got P90X. I bought that whenever back in the day. And that thing is just so time consuming. It's like an hour for one of those videos. Unless if it's yoga, then that damn thing is like an hour and a half. So much time, 6 days a week. And then they have a double circuit routine where you do 2 of those damn discs. And it's like, so you're spending like 2 hours. I did never do that because it's like, I don't have time for that nonsense. But with this is doing compound movements. So you're doing a more intense workout all at once. So instead of an hour, it's 30 minutes. And so you will start down, like laying down on the floor, and you work yourself where you're up and you come up and then you shoot yourself up. And then you kind of come back and you twist back and then you curl it back down, and you end up where you're starting off laying down on the floor. And with that one movement from going to the floor all the way up to the top, well, you're doing overhead presses, you're doing curling action, you're doing squats all at once. And that's where you save in the time. And it's like, I am extremely interested in being able to save time with this. So I bought one. I'm going to look for a kettlebell workout routine in order to do that. And I'm going to fast to engage autophagy, which is something that I've just kind of learned about, which is whenever you're not eating, it allows your body to kind of do maintenance and repair on yourself. And one of the things that I came across was it will deal with tumors. And so right here, there's like this little bump right there, and that's a tumor. It's a fatty tumor. They can turn cancerous, though not very often. It's not that big of a thing, because I've known several people who have these things and they just kind of happen. And mine has gotten smaller. It used to hurt and it used to be bigger, but since I've lost like 50 pounds and I have gone with cutting out a lot of sugar, apparently sugar, it feeds tumors and cancer and all that. And then I found videos recently saying that whenever you stop eating and you do fasting, that your body doesn't have any food to digest, so it'll take care of itself and it will start cannibalizing itself. So like it'll eat your muscles if you let it go too bad, but it'll start with your fat. And that's what this is. This is a fatty tumor. And so supposedly it'll eat this thing up. And it's like, yes, it has gotten smaller. So it's like, if I really kind of knock into this stuff, it's like, can I get it completely to go away? Because I have a few of them on me, and it's like, I am so willing to do this because of one thing that really stands out above the rest, and that is it's free. The only thing that will keep me from doing this is me. There's no pills, there's no supplements. It's just stop opening your mouth and shoving food down your throat. That's it. It's completely free. It's like, yeah, I can do that. Now, I didn't feel that way at first. Whenever I was 230 pounds and I was waking up every single morning with some kind of pain somewhere in my body, especially with my joints. And it was like, I got to do something about this. And it was like, yeah, and I also have a slipped disc and a cracked lower vertebrae from whenever I was in the Army. I was a 19th Delta Cavalry Scout, and whenever that thing gets pinched, it hurts bad. And it would go off like once a year, and I just couldn't move. And I was talking to the doctor at the VA hospital, and I was like, if I go in, or if I stop eating and as much and I lose the weight and I exercise and strengthen my back, is that really going to help, or is that just kind of some BS that goes around? He's like, no, that'll help. And I tell you what, I've done it. I've lost that 50 pounds, and I work out and I run, and I don't wake up with pains anymore at all. They're gone. The only time I hurt myself is because I work out. I don't wake up with these pains anymore. It's because of my exercise routine. And I've not had my back go out. It does get strained some, and it can get to hurting. But before, I would be out for like 2 or 3 days where I could not move. That has not happened for years. And it's like, well, I still have a little bit, just a little bit. It's not a lot, but I have about 10 to 15 more pounds that I want to lose. So to get down to about 170 to 165. And I've been down to about 170 before already. And just with the holidays here, I kind of let it go. And it's like, I can get back on that. Not only am I working on my physical health and also my mental health, because with like the trust things and my father just being an absolute trash, I'm also working on my environment, and I'm going to kind of scrap quite a bit of things. And it's something that I've already been doing for the past couple of months. One of them is, I'm just going to go ahead and show you, is that I have a dual monitor setup. And so I have one monitor right here. Ooh, trippy, where does it go? It's an endless. Ooh, we're getting sucked in. Anyways. I have a monitor here, and this one I bought that new video card because it has a display output, which allows for much better pictures. This monitor over here, though, only has an HDMI. But that works out because I still have that HDMI splitter, and so this was my old monitor, and it splits off to my TV, which is around the corner. And I just bought a 3D printer, which I have some big plans for that. And I've been waiting because it had just one Z axis right here, and I put on a second stepper motor with a Z axis right here. The kit that I bought it from, it didn't have this. This piece was not long enough, and so I had to buy this separate. And I bought a BL Touch so it would self-level. It's on the other side over there. It's right there. It's that white thing. And then I bought some insulation on the bottom to help with heat, because heating is like a major thing with this. If you want to prevent stringing and all that stuff, then you really want to control the heat to the bed, the heat to the nozzle. I've got these little silicone tabs to go on the end. And then in the living room, I'm going to sell all of this furniture slowly because it's just kind of plain. That chair and couch right there were my mom's, and that's been a while ago. It's not really my style, but whenever she passed away, I really didn't have much, and so I just took hers. And then with that other couch over there, there's also a love seat that's around the corner, because it's pretty big right there inside the living room. And then if you could just turn the corner and look back towards that way, you would see the TV is right there. And I'm going to build shelves along this wall right here between the door and the corner right there. I'm going to put some shelves up in there, which I'm going to build. I will have one new couch instead of two, and a love seat. I probably won't have any big chairs, because that chair, even though it's big, it is uncomfortable. And I'll build a new TV stand and a coffee table / gaming table / dining room table. And I came upon this by accident. Once a month or twice a month, I get together with a group of friends. There's about, 4 of us that are kind of a core group, another 4 that are kind of semi-regulars, and then we probably have about a dozen that don't know, but there's a group of us. And they all have like a ton of games. I have one, and it's Twilight Imperium 4. That thing takes hours to play. It can take about 30 minutes to set up and 30 minutes to put it all away. It is not a small game, easy game at all. It's very complicated. It's a lot of fun. But the rest of them, they've got like games coming out of their butts, and it's like, well, maybe I should go get one more. Then I came across gaming tables, and they all are trash, but it was like, I know how to do this stuff. So it's like, for example, I've only been working with plywood, but my 3D printer right here, this little thing that I built, is one of those things, and it's just real simple. It's just plywood. The reason why this is dark right here is because I put my feet up there like that. It's like, I don't care, because it's not going to stay. This was just something temporary so I could hold this stuff. And if you could go around the corner right here, the cord on this is not long enough. There is a orange. You son of a... It's like right there. Crap. This is just the wall that's in the way. I tell you, it's just like right there. Just a little bit. Fuck it. Come here, you damn computer. I'm just going to scoot it on back. Did that do it? Hell no. There. That orange thing back there. What it is, it's 3 boxes that I built to put in my shoes. I can't believe I just did that. Who the hell cares about those damn things? Anyways, I also do custom closet builds where I put in floating shelves and provide a lot of space. So then that way, whenever I'm showing one of my rental properties, that is the wow factor. Whenever people see these custom shelves and this custom work done inside, that will stay in their head. Sets me apart from the rest. I have to watch the time on this because I'm not going over an hour this time. In fact, I want to keep it about 50 minutes. But I upgraded my computer too to do the dual monitor, and so maybe with all of this upgrading stuff, maybe I'm filming at a higher quality, and so that's I won't be able to, because I did a few videos before that were over an hour, but they would not always stop. I had a problem with them where they would continue to run, and I would have to turn off my computer in order to get the stupid thing. And that was the reason why I decided to upgrade it. I upgraded the processor, and then I didn't know about the motherboard, and I upgraded the RAM and the video card. And whenever I was talking to them about all that stuff, it was just a question. And I ended up spending several $100s. I felt like I really got scammed with it, and I was really pissed off by the time that I left. I wasn't talking to anybody because it's like, you screwed me over, and I will never go back to that place. So, because it's like, it was bullshit. It was just kind of one thing after another, and it's like, do I? Because it's like, I know a little bit, and this kind of sounds legit, but it's like, damn, dude, this just doesn't feel right either. So it's just, I don't know. That's why I bit my tongue, because I don't have a problem going off on somebody, but I just did not know enough to do that. So, and then, so I'm going to get rid of all that stuff, and I'm going to build end tables for the new couch that I'll get, which won't be anytime soon, because I'm going to get rid of the big furniture, and I'm going to clean all that up. And whenever I moved into this place, I didn't do anything. I didn't fix it. It's because I was not planning on staying here very long, and whenever I moved out, that was whenever I was going to tackle the place. But it's like, it still has nail holes from the previous tenant that I had living in here. So with all the furniture that's going to be moved out, which is going to be all except for one couch, then I'm going to go ahead and work on the walls, put a fresh coat of paint on it, fill in all the holes and the cracks and all that kind of stuff. And I don't think there's anything else that I'll need to do. Well, no, at the end, I'll redo the flooring. I'll rip up this carpet. I've ripped up the carpet in here and down in there. I left the tack strips in, took out the padding, scraped all that up. You know, I've done that plenty of times. I still have the carpet in there, but it's nasty. It's been here longer than I've owned the place, so it's well over 10 years. It's like it needs to go. And so since all the furniture, so much of the big furniture will be gone, I'll have very little left. That'll be a good time to go ahead and do the flooring. I'll do carpeting in there, in here, and down the hallway. And then with the rest of it, I'll just have to hit it all later. And then I will build a computer desk. And then I also have a workstation over here as well on the other side. And it just catches all kinds of things. And it's just, I've always got projects going on somewhere. But the self-improvement thing is something that I've been doing for a little while. And creating a noble family. This is the Welsh flag because my ancestry is Welsh. And then we came over to America and we ended up in Texas. And then with this larger piece, this is from a church somewhere in Northern Europe. And it's Finis Glory Medane or something like that. And but what it is, it has there's a dead priest right there and a dead warrior, and in the background there's all this gold and jewels and stuff. And you saw this every time that you entered and exited the church. And it was just to serve as a reminder that when you die, none of your wealth and your riches go with you. And it was just to say, don't get so caught up in materialism. Once, whenever you're dead, and the stuff is still there. You know, so make sure you're really kind of living your life right. And then that is the I-4 flag, which stands for Implementation Force. I was in the Army that was with NATO. I was a 19th Delta Cavalry Scout. And I just like Superman, and then I've got some books over there. I've got a little German smoker. You can't see him anyways. But I'm going to do a computer desk in here, and I'm going to make some 3D printed parts. I wanted the desk to look really sci-fi and high-tech. There's a YouTube channel where they do kind of these desk gaming room setup war things, and they look at these really high-end computers and their surroundings. It's like they've got some really cool stuff. One of these guys, they had these little, they were key cards. And he put it in plastic, and he could swipe it, and it would unlock his desk, and he could swipe it at his computer, and it would turn on his computer, and it was Resident Evil themed, and it was like, that's cool. And it's a RIFD card swiping technology. It's what you do whenever you go to a hotel room and you swipe your little card to get into your room. Same thing. And it just takes little bitty cheap stuff, but you have to know a little bit of coding, and it's like, well, I can learn all that crap. And I know how to do carpentry, electrical, and plumbing. And so like with the gaming table, I'm going to make a coffee table that the legs can expand so it can be a dining room table, and also take the top off of it so it can be a gaming table where I'm going to have 3D printed parts with its small little speakers, because like in the garage, I had some old car speakers, and I built boxes for them. I mounted it up into the ceiling. I ran wiring, bought a cheap little $20 car radio from Walmart, wired it all up, took a 12-volt, 6-amp power cord. Is that what it is? I'd have to look at it to remember. Connected it all up so then I could use it for a wall outlet instead of a car. So that gave me Wi-Fi with everything, and then I built a little box to store that in on. I connected it up to my phone and listened to it, and I did like 20 to 30 outlets with the garages and about a half a dozen light switches. So the gaming table at each player location is going to have one outlet, two USB connections. There's going to be lights with switches and knobs and dimmer switches and controls, and maybe also small little touch screens with them, because one of the things that's kind of funny is being able to have your own sounds with some of those gaming tables, which was only like 2 of them. They had a speaker, but it was underneath the table. You couldn't hear it very well. And one of the reviews that was being done, they liked playing ambient sounds in the background, so like of some busy place, with some chatter going on in the background. It's like they had a website and a whole array of choices to pick from to enhance all that stuff. And I'm going to build 2 of all of these things, 2 sets of shelves, end tables, and gaming tables, and I'm going to sell one of them, because I know how to do the epoxy table stuff, and you can buy those epoxy tables for thousands of dollars. That's how much those things sell for. There's one YouTube channel called Blacktail Studio, and he's selling his tables for like $10,000 to $15,000. But he's spending like there's one where he spent $4,000 in a piece of wood. One of his cheapest slabs of wood was like $250. He spends several $100s just in the epoxy alone, and then I've got a few $1,000s worth of tools, but this guy, he's got like $20,000 worth of tools or more, because it's like I have a table saw, $1,200. His is like $5,000 to $10,000. And it's like, it's nice. His has added features that makes it easier to do these things. It's not necessary, though. It does mean I'm going to be busting my bag more than what he does, because I don't have all those features, but it's like, it's what I've got. So, because with, cutting plywood for custom closet shelving and all that kind of stuff, it's like you don't need anything quite like that. But, and if I really need it, I've got friends and people that I can call. It's like, we'll break our backs together. Here's a pizza, now shut up. And and I'm going to do with all of that stuff. And whenever I was looking at those gaming tables, it's like they didn't have all that stuff. It's like I can build mine out of wood with a really nice piece of wood. They didn't have epoxy in it. It's like I can add that to it. They didn't have speakers in any of them except for that one that was in it. It's like, well, I know how to do that. I just know how to do all this stuff. It's like I'm going to combine it all, and it's like I'll be able to sell these things for like 15 a pop pretty easily. But anyways, I'm doing all this self-improvement, and it's like, yeah, I failed with all this stuff, but that doesn't mean stop. And so I'm going to keep making fun of the government and politics. It's like I'm still watching all this stuff with what's going on with the news, and I was just thinking about like the environment, how stupid all this stuff is. Because it's like, yeah, you know what, these companies, they do need to be held responsible. It's like, let them do what they need to do, but they don't need the government to like do like a carbon tax. It's like, that is so stupid. How does a carbon tax do any of this stuff? It just makes everything expensive with no payoff at all. So instead, it's that the company should have to maybe pay so much or do so much to help offset that. So a specific example would be greenage. Plant trees and shrubs and bushes. So if this factory is making all this carbon monoxide, and it's like, okay, well, do some greenery to help offset that. And so it could be based off of how much money they're making, or maybe how much carbon that they're making. You know, probably the carbon one would make more sense. It's like, okay, well then you're going to have to plant this many trees or bushes, and they can't die either. It's like, it does no good. So we have like a carbon plant. I've driven by that thing like 100 times, and it's like black all over the place and nothing dies. It's like, no, you do not get to plant plants around your damn factory there, or plant or whatever, and then they just all die. That just does nothing. You know, because maybe the answer is that it would be cheaper for them to buy some really horrible wasteland somewhere and revitalize it by planting all of these plants and bushes and stuff. Because that's one of the problems that they have now, is that, yeah, they talk about how we have more trees than we've had in well over 100 years, and part of it is that we're burning coal instead of wood. And we have all of these incentives for cutting down trees, but we don't have a lot of incentive for replanting trees. So the only time whenever you do hear about trees being replanted, they're usually the kind of trees that grow back very fast, so you can cut them down, so you can burn them or you can make lumber, which leaves a whole bunch of trees kind of unworthy of being planted because they just take too long to grow. So what is something that we could do to help offset that? Well, what about these companies who are doing this? They don't care. They're not in the lumber business. So they could get kudo points for planting rare species of trees, because we have to come up with some kind of reward system. And that sounds legitimate to me, because I get so fed up with these lunatic leftists. It's like, well, that's not perfect. It's like, shut the fuck up. Not perfect. It's like, sorry, this is the real world, not this utopian fairy tale land that you have inside of your head with flying unicorns farting pixie dust out their goddamn ass. Grow up, child. Go do something for a change. You know, it's like, yes, it's a lot of hard work, and forcing it through the government isn't going to do it. It's like they used to have a really big problem with horses. Before we had cars, it was horses, and they just did their business wherever. So it smelled horribly because they didn't go to a bathroom. Their bathroom was like, I'm going right here. What up? And they passed all of these regulations to try and control it. And it's like, it did absolutely nothing. You know why? Because it didn't address the issue. And the issue was transportation. It's like people needed to get around, and they needed to transport materials. And so it all got solved when they invented cars. They didn't even know about it. But the market was open, the economy was free to do whatever, and it took over. And it's like, well, how many things are in our future that we don't even comprehend right now, but they can address our problems. But maybe we can't even do it because we have these stupid, ridiculous things in place. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any kind of consequences, but you know what the answer isn't to like 90% of this crap that the government does? It's not the government. That is not the answer. And so, yeah, I'm just going to shove this all up everybody's butt because I tell you what, I'm tired of the lies. I just cannot stress this enough. I tell you what, every time that I hear somebody say, well, we need another law, a government politician or whatever, rule, regulation, it just makes me want to vomit, just bash my head into the damn screen because it's like, you are a liar. I mean, it's just like what we've been seeing with this, my coronavirus, and that is, you know, what that political saying, never let a tragedy go to waste, because these people are so optimistic and so positive with things that they will take any kind of trash. Any, you know, the saying is, if you're given lemons, then make lemonade. That's what they do all the time. And I don't have a problem with that, except they use it for their nefarious reasons. I wish there were more people who were doing that instead of cowering like children and actually taking the initiative and doing it themselves and presenting real answers like what I'm doing now. It's like I do this constantly in my videos. I swear to God, I feel like I live in fucking clown world because all this stuff is backwards. It's like, oh, well, we have a problem with inflation. Well, stop talking about it. We need to talk about deflation. I do not give one rat's ass about having $1 million if all I can buy is toilet paper. You don't want more money. You want more purchasing power. I want to be able to take $1 and go buy a mansion. I don't care. I don't care if I have $1 billion if it's not worth nothing. And that's exactly how it is in some of these countries. Whenever I was in the army and I was stationed over there in Germany and Budapest, we did some joint training in Poland, and it's like, for $1,000, it's like, yeah, you could buy like something stupid. Whenever we were there in Bosnia, they were going around with wheelbarrows full of money. It's like they had billions of their dollars and they couldn't buy jack shit. Screw that crap. And that's what minimum wage does. That's what taxes do. It's like, no, I got answers to so much of this stuff. I tell you what, it just makes your head explode. That's why most of the time, I tell you what, my friends just do not know. I keep my mouth shut whenever I'm with them with a lot of this stuff. I did actually kind of go off a little while ago because one of them, he majored in, he has his MA in accounting or something like that. And it's like, you're just missing it all. Nice guy, nothing but good intents. He's just a young fella, and he just went to school, and this is what his professors told him. Man, that the guy is just completely nice. He's just fun as can be, and it's like, but he has this notion that, well, this is my professor. He's educated. He knows what he's talking about, and no one else does. It's like, no. And I used to think like that too whenever I was younger, and it's like, no, I got my big boy pants on now, and it's like, no. And part of it is because whenever I was younger, I looked at those professors as, well, they're the big grown-up adults because that's the way it's been as a child. But now that I am that age, it's like, no, that person is no longer adult. That adult is my peer, and my peers have been nothing but dumbasses the entire damn time. So he can take a fork and just, yeah. So anyways, I'm going to stop this video, and hopefully this is not over. What is it? 2 gigabytes, and we'll just see. And yeah, so I'm probably gonna, I don't know. We'll deal with it as it comes. But yeah, I'm back, and so I don't know what the video schedule looks like. I still have a billion things to do, and it's never gonna stop. But I just was not in the position that I thought I was to be able to do this. But I definitely was able to do a lot, and so it's not going to stop though. It's just not at all. And if you're tired of all these lies, one of the things that I want the website to do is that I want to be able to do this. I was able to put all of this together, a lot of this because it's things that I found online. Whenever I started with my rental properties 10 years ago, that whenever the internet really became a good place, I've learned so much from it. And I don't want to see of people's dogs and cats. And so like there, with that first go of the video that was too long, I was showing something where it took like, here it is. This is a resin table that they built. And it's like the thing is just beautiful. With the blue, with the white, because it doesn't quite mix, so it doesn't become a light blue. It actually keeps it separate. And then this jagged edge with the wood, that's called the live edge because that's where the bark was. And it just looks amazing. But you know what they do in all these videos? In so many of these stupid damn videos, they just put this random nonsense fluff in it of their dogs and their cats, and they'll talk about their day. Oh, I just woke up and it's just such a beautiful morning. It's like, I'm not here for this. This is not the. You know what that video says? Oh, you can't see it. I'm sorry. I can see it because it's on my other monitor. But this is the other monitor right here. And here it is. The title of the video is "This Resin River Table Can Extend." It's like, great. I want to learn about extending this and putting in leaves and stuff. But he's got his dog in it. Nowhere in the title does it say anything about this dog. It's like, I watch videos like this, like, man, look at all these tabs that I have open up here. I have, what do I have? I have 4 different separate tabs down there in the little Windows bar things. And with each one of those, I have 10 to 20 tabs opened up in each one of those. And it's because I go through videos like this all the time. And it's just like, all of these videos could be cut down so much. Oh my God. It just makes my head want to explode. It's like, I don't care about your dog. I'm sure your dog is nice and fine and all that stuff. But this is not a dog video. I don't want it. Get to the point. And it's like, they don't think anything of it because it's like, well, it's just my dog. It's just for a couple of minutes. But it's like, but whenever I'm trying to learn to do something, because the information is so scattered all over the damn place, it's like you have to watch like a dozen videos to just start to get a grasp of it. And then maybe by the time you've gotten to 50 videos, you can actually put together an SOP, standard operating procedure. And then from that, you can start putting together a checklist about the materials and the tools that you need and the techniques and all that stuff. And then you can do it. And that's fantastic because I remember before we had the internet, it was like you had school, maybe you could go buy a book somewhere. And if not, then you had to be mentored. And if you couldn't do one of those things for some reason, you were just screwed. But now it's like, well, do you have a cell phone? Well, then you can look it up on that. And it's like, knock yourself out. And now it's just this. And it's like, no. Because you know what freedom is? Freedom comes from money. And that's it. 80% of businesses are small businesses. And I'm going to do everything in my power to help you because it's like this gaming table is going to rock the market because I'm able to take all of these concepts together. And I've got the tools and the experience to do it. And a lot of it came because of the internet. So imagine if there was a website where you could go without people's damn dogs and talking about their random nonsense, which I don't have anything against it. Go ahead, knock yourself out with it. But I need a place where it's like, here's the meat and the potatoes of it. So then that way I can do the best that I can possibly can, and I can just go off and explode into all this creative stuff. And I want that for everybody. So whatever it is that you're doing, I want you to have all this great, wonderful information so you can do all that you want to do, that you are not limited by stupid, crazy regulations and policies that serve no purpose other than people manipulating other people so they can get more money from taxes, where they funnel it around back and forth to each other. It's like, no. So if you've liked and enjoyed this video, then give it a thumbs up. And I tell you what, I'm going to make something big happen out of this. So subscribe and watch me from time to time to see how things are progressing, because you're going to be one of those people who's going to say, I saw this guy at the beginning and look at where he is now. It's like, yeah, it'll be just a good story to be able to tell. I tell you what, I like that a lot. I like being able to tell stories. People do it all the time with so much stuff, and it's like that's just fun. So it's at 50 minutes. I'm going to stop here now. Again, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you again soon. Bye.